everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am Krista and you're watching Krista's Catalog, where I talk about anything related to books. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about all of the books that I want to read during my friend Maci's readathon. If you're unfamiliar with what a readathon is, it is basically a set number of days where you try to read as many books as you can, usually pertaining to certain prompts, depending on like the theme of the readathon. Everyone just comes together to read. There's usually like reading sprints or like Instagram challenges, things like that to make it more interactive with people. And so obviously I am doing my friend Maci's readathon from TheBrightSideGirl. I will leave links to all of her stuff down below so you guys can check her out, and all of the information about the readathon. The readathon is called Randomathon. It is the first time that she's doing this readathon, and with Randomathon, every time that she does it, it's going to have a different theme. So the first theme this time is circus related, everything about the big tents, amusement parks, festivals, anything of that sort. This readathon starts February 5th through the 19th, and there are 5 reading challenges and then 5 Instagram challenges. I'm not sure yet if I'm going to do the Instagram challenges. I want to, but we'll see if I have time to like figure out photos and things like that. The first book on this list is actually one that I don't remember the title of, and I'm not sure it's really announced yet, but it is the buddy read. Every time that Maci does a readathon, she always picks a buddy read. This one has something to do with Houdini, I believe. She put a poll up and it hasn't been officially announced, but there is pretty much like a landslide win for this book, so I highly doubt it'll be anything else. The next book on this list actually fulfills 2 out of the 5 challenges, and that is to read a book with Misfit characters and then read a book with magic in it. And she did stress that while you can choose any fantasy book that has magic in it, she was mostly talking about like magicians and that sort of thing. I have chosen Magic Misfits by Neil Patrick Harris. This is the first book in a middle grade fantasy sort of series. I've seen this series around at my library and it gets checked out quite frequently, and it's been catching my eye, so I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to try it out because it's about a magic show, and obviously Misfits because it's called Magic Misfits. The next challenge is to read a book set at a theme park. I'm actually really excited for this challenge because I recently bought the perfect book for this, and it is Almost Flying by Jake Arlo. And this follows our main character as they go to an amusement park with their family and they invite their secret girlfriend to tag along, and things go from there. It's supposed to be a cute queer love story, but also about crushes, making mistakes, and I think this is also partially a coming out story. So I'm excited for this. It has a roller coaster on the cover, perfect for this challenge, but also obviously the whole day is set at an amusement park. Then there is one challenge that I don't know what I'm going to be reading for it yet, and that is to read a book with a Ferris wheel on the cover. I really want to try to read books that I already own or am really interested in reading, and so far every book that I've found that has a Ferris wheel on the cover I don't really want to read, and also I don't have a single book on my shelves with a Ferris wheel. I scoured through all of my books with like sceneries and stuff, and there's no Ferris wheel to be found. So, and then the next book for this list is a book that I'm personally choosing because I want to make sure I read all of these books, and so I need a little bit of a win for me to like lower my load, and that is to read a book with curtains on the cover, or like a circus big top also counts. And I have chosen Thistlefoot by Jenna Rose Nethercott. This is a sort of fantasy story about obviously Baba Yaga's house with chicken legs, and it follows 2 characters who are brother and sister who end up inheriting this house, and they're not really sure what they want to do with it. There's some hijinks involved. There's sort of this like murder mystery involved as well. I am actually halfway through this book. However, I ended up rolling over on the audio and I never got to finish it. And as you can see, there are curtains on the cover because their mother actually had a like puppet show that she produced like inside the house with the chicken legs, and it's very atmospheric and weird and magical. I think this is perfect for this challenge, but also this readathon, because even though it's not necessarily circus related, it is kind of like circus adjacent, with it being about shows and theaters and that sort of thing. And then there are 2 books that I want to read that don't fulfill any of the challenges, but they are very much circus related. They're pretty much the most iconic circus books out there. Caravel by Stephanie Garber. This is a YA fantasy story, I think, about acrobats. This is actually my friend Maci's favorite book, or one of her favorite books, and obviously since this is her readathon and this is circus themed, it seems like the perfect time to read this. I've also heard amazing things about this series, so I thought I would give it a go, at least just the first book, and see if I like it, and then obviously I can continue if I want. And then finally, the last book on this list is the most iconic circus themed book out there, and that is The Night Circus by Erin Morgenstern. I have not actually read this book. Will be the first time for me. I don't think I've heard any negative things about this. On the back it says magical realism Romeo and Juliet story, which is funny because I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that about this book. I don't think I've even heard anyone talk about what this book's about, so I'm excited for it. That is everything I have for this video. Comment down below if you guys are participating in Randomathon. If you have any suggestions on books with Ferris wheels on the cover, I will gladly take them, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Thanks so much for watching. Bye!